Another year is ending, and there's a quiet weight that comes with that. Because endings force honesty. They make you look back. They make you count things you tried not to count. They bring questions you've been pushing away into the open. And if you're being honest with yourself, this is not how you thought things would look by now. You thought God would have answered already. You thought something would have shifted. You thought the waiting would have made sense by now. But here you are, still waiting, still praying, still holding questions you don't know how to ask anymore. And that hurts. Not because you stopped believing, but because you didn't. You stayed. You kept trusting quietly. You kept showing up when it would have been easier to pull away. You kept hoping even when hope felt thin. And the silence stayed. As the year comes to an end, that silence feels heavier. Because silence at the end of a year feels different than silence in the middle of it. It feels final. It feels exposing. It feels like a verdict you didn't agree to. You start replaying moments. Conversations you thought would lead somewhere. Prayers you whispered late at night. Promises you believed would unfold before now. You start asking yourself questions you never planned to ask. Did I misunderstand God? Did I wait wrong? Did I miss something important? Did I believe too much? And maybe the hardest part is this. You don't even know how to talk about it anymore. Because everyone else seems to be talking about wins. About gratitude. About breakthroughs. About how good this year has been to them. And you're sitting there with unanswered prayers, trying not to feel invisible. So you stay quiet. You nod. You smile when you're supposed to. You say the right words at the right times. You tell yourself to be grateful anyway. You tell yourself not to question too much. You tell yourself that faith means silence, but faith was never meant to suffocate you. There is a difference between trusting God and slowly disappearing inside your own questions. Let me say this carefully. Waiting does not mean you failed. Silence does not mean God withdrew. And unanswered prayers do not mean you were ignored. Sometimes the end of a year doesn't bring closure. Sometimes it brings clarity. Not the clarity of answers, but the clarity of endurance. Clarity that you survived something you didn't think you would. Clarity that you're still standing even though the answers didn't come. Clarity that you're still here, even after disappointment. God sees the weight you carried through this year. He sees the prayers you didn't finish, the questions you swallowed, the faith you held without evidence. He sees the nights you stayed when it would have been easier to walk away. He sees the moments you didn't quit, even when you felt forgotten. And that matters. You don't need to wrap this year up with optimism. You don't need to pretend it was all good. You don't need to force meaning where there is still mystery. You are allowed to say, "This year was hard." You are allowed to admit that waiting took something out of you. You are allowed to feel tired without feeling ashamed. If God hasn't answered yet, it doesn't mean He won't. And it doesn't mean He wasn't present in the waiting. Some seasons don't end with explanation. They end with survival. And surviving with faith intact is not failure. It is strength. You don't have to rush into the next year healed. You don't have to arrive with clarity. You don't have to pretend this didn't hurt. You don't have to turn pain into a testimony yet. Right now, it's enough that you're still here. If you're closing this year tired, you are not behind. If you're closing this year disappointed, you are not weak. If you're closing this year still waiting, you are not forgotten. There is a kind of faith that doesn't shout. It doesn't celebrate early. It doesn't explain itself. It simply stays. And that kind of faith matters more than you know. If you don't know what to say right now, you can just type "still here" in the comments. No explanations, no pressure. Even now, heaven is working, quietly, faithfully, beyond what you can see. Take a breath. You made it through this year, and your anchor still holds.